are here living the authentic life, and we are officially starting to do our podcast from our location in Houston, Texas. And we feel like this is our home, and where so many people see us on Instagram and on YouTube and different places, and we wanted our podcast to be in our home because we bring people who have significant contributions to our community, who are real Texas tastemakers. And today we have two women. One of my favorite people in the world, Amy Pierce, who you see here. She's going to be a co-host. I think you've been on more podcasts than Rob has been on. Shout out to Rob in the back office. And Jane, pronounce your last name for me.
Borochoff.
Borochoff. I love it. So my grandmother was Jane. Martha Jane, and I just love that name. I think, was it a family name for you too?
It wasn't. I was supposed to be named Jennifer, and I have cousins on both sides. So my mom's brother had a daughter named Jennifer, and then my dad's sister had a daughter named Jennifer, both in the same year I was born. So my parents had to regroup.
Right.
And they came up with Jane.
Well, I think that's so good because oftentimes I'm in a group and there's like 4 Jennifers.
Right.
So you stand out in the crowd.
Yes, yes.
And when I read your resume, you absolutely stand out in a crowd. You are so accomplished and have done so many interesting things. I actually am a journalism major, so I love that you're on the board of directors for the Texas Tribune. Mm-hmm. And then you've done so much with music in your life. You have a radio show with music. And then tell us about this organization. I couldn't believe I'd never heard of it. Texas
Lyceum. The Lyceum.
Lyceum.
So the Texas Lyceum is a statewide organization. It is nonpartisan, it is nonprofit, and it's about developing young leaders around public policy.
Yes, yes.
It's
the
such
next
a
generation of leaders.
Yes, and even my daughter in her class this year seemed to get really involved in
Eighth
politics.
grade, middle school.
Eighth grade, middle
This is the next generation.
And then they would say, well, maybe we shouldn't have an opinion. And I'm like, no, you should have an opinion, but it should be based upon facts, and you should research your opinion, and you should be careful with the way that you say things so other people aren't offended. Because we had some heated conversations. But I feel that's so important for the community to be able to have these gathering moments.
I agree, and I find that the Texas Lyceum is one of those unique places where people come together from different backgrounds with different ideologies and can have a civil discourse around the issues of the day. And I think so often we get in our own, communities where we're surrounded by people who think like us, in our places of worship or in our neighborhoods or our communities, and that's just a natural thing that happens. And so the Lyceum sort of gets people outside of your own group, and you have conversation, but it's very civil, it's very enlightening, informative, and we talk about every issue. There might be a conference on water, there might be a conference on energy. I was very happy to chair a conference around special needs because that's an issue I'm so passionate about, and I think all of us here share that passion, and really bring that issue to the forefront for people in Texas to learn more about that issue as well.
It's the only way to broaden your awareness. And so many times we do get in our lane and we realize we can't be an expert in everything. We really have to, open our windows, open the doors, and bring new people in. So that's me today.
Yes. Oh, it's okay. We're all living life in the midst of COVID, and that's a journey. So this is the way that I actually met Amy Pierce, is through KNOWAutism. And I'm kind of hiding the title of today's podcast and the main theme, but we're here to talk about autism, and it is Autism Awareness Month. And I was not exposed to autism at a young age, but I do have a cousin who is, he's 58, and we called it mentally retarded.
At
the time, that's what, it wasn't special needs. But it was always something that he was there. We're an Italian family. We're super close. So that was my first exposure to someone having disabilities. And his was pretty extreme. But then our office manager here, Alma, for Rob's office manager for 25 years, even before we were together, her daughter is autistic. So I decided for my 50th birthday that I would raise money for autism. And then in honor of her who was retiring, and then Tammy Wynn asked me to co-chair, and that's how I met Amy one of my closest friends, we say that we're sisters from another mother.
Right.
So it's interesting how things aren't in your lane, like you're saying, but there's exposure to it, and then you realize how prevalent it is and how many people do have someone in their family that's affected and what we can do. But what you've done is such a big part by filling that gap of how to get them engaged with the community after they come out of school. And I think we talk about sex trafficking, and there's that gap of these women after they're saved. Where do they go? What do we do? How do we bring them into the community? And that is the biggest, that's even an issue with incarceration. How do people come out of that? But we're talking about autism. Tell us what you set up and how you did that.
Sure. Well, my story is very similar to yours in that I didn't grow up around anyone with special needs or autism. I didn't go to school to learn about that. And what happened in my case was I fell in love with my husband. And when I met him 21 years ago now, he was a single dad with 3 kids. And 3 beautiful children, and 2 are twins, a boy and a girl, and the oldest is Bradley, who has intellectual challenges. He doesn't have autism. He was born completely typical, but when he was 3 years old, he started having seizures and suffered brain damage and was in Texas Children's Hospital for years until they could get his seizures under control. But now he will pretty much forever live his life kind of like a 6 years old. So he's 35 years old today. When I met him, he was 14. So in that journey in my life with my family, I've learned a lot about adults with intellectual challenges because I don't have a child, I have an adult, right? And I'll have him hopefully for the rest of my life. And so I became very passionate about how can we, together as families, as a community, create more opportunities once they do become adults, right? So there's a lot of programs for younger children, for people in the schools and outside of the schools, whether it's Special Olympics or a number of other programs, but then they become adults and they want to be part of the community, and many of them want to work, and so many times those doors are closed. And so my husband and I started a nonprofit organization in 2002. He helped me fill out all the paperwork, and we really didn't know what it would be or what it would do. And in 2005, we were able to get some funding to start a new program. And so February 1 of 2006, we opened the doors of what we call the HEART program, because we started it from our hearts. And now...
But tell them what HEART stands for. Come on,
yes,
come on.
I will.
Okay.
But we're celebrating our 15th year this year. February 1st was our 15th anniversary for the
That's
HEART
incredible.
program.
Yeah.
And it stands for Housing, Entrepreneurship, and Readiness Training, so HEART. And right now we're focused on the training and the entrepreneurship part, but we know that housing is such a big need.
Yeah.
Where are these folks going to live? Where's Bradley going to live when I'm no longer here? And so this is something, these are the important issues that we work on every day at the HEART program, is finding employment, finding training opportunities, education, entrepreneurship, and housing. And I'm so excited that Amy has been such a strong partner, not only with the HEART program, but really with the broader community for people with autism and special needs. And now, as chair of the board of KNOWAutism and HEART are working together on an exciting new project, and I'll let her talk about it, but before she does, I just want to say very briefly that involves art. And I think art is something that connects all of us, our love of art and music and all of those ways to creatively express our ideas. And for people with special needs, that's so important, right? Because they need every communication tool that they can get to express themselves. And so my son Bradley is participating in this project, and he's been working on it, and I've been texting her pictures.
Yes, it's so beautiful.
So we're very excited to be part of it.
It's so beautiful. Such a big part of living the authentic life is having purpose. And I think that if by having a job, it gives them such a purpose. By having an outlet for their creativity and having people look at that and support that is such a matter of connection too, which is, tell us about this event. How would people get involved?
Yes,
or how can
and I
people
do want
support?
to also finish up about all the opportunities that HEART is creating. But I actually came to know about KNOWAutism. I was chairman of the board for Theater Under the Stars, and Tuts has a program called The River. And The River is open to children of all abilities. And again, it involves art. We have the visual arts, but we also have musical theater, singing and dancing, all forms of movement. And I think, as you know, for Bradley, it is often easier for a child to sing than it is to speak. So they can sing, "I love you." They can sing, "Hello, my name is," and then it is easier for them to say it. And we've had many children sing for the first time than to speak. It is just absolute magic. But many of our river children, actually at Theater of the Stars, are now participating in our main stage shows on the stage. And it's such a glorious opportunity for them. But I'll tell you, I think it's even a better opportunity for our actors and our students at our professional school to be able to partner with our students at the river. I think it's more rewarding for them to just be able to work with these students who have such incredible joy every day. It really is. So I had the opportunity to work and know about the river and KNOWAutism, which has been around for 7 years. It was founded by Tammy and Wayne Wynn 7 years ago. Their son Reagan is a child with autism. And they realized in their journey how incredibly difficult it was first to be diagnosed. And once you are diagnosed, then you are able to have access to all the speech therapy, all the therapy, social therapy, all the various therapies that a child needs. And Reagan, many children with autism, they are nonverbal. Reagan was not able to speak, and they did not think he would be able to speak. And I think many of us have a misconception about a child who has autism. We see these brilliant moments where they're able to, I'll say Rain Man, for example, when he's able to memorize the phone book. And they are incredibly gifted at one particular area, and many children do have that gift, but that is not the main for children on the spectrum. That is incredibly rare. Most children on the spectrum are nonverbal, are not able to mainstream in school. They do not have the social skills, and they really it is difficult for parents. Right now, 1 in 54 children are on the spectrum. And so all of us, like we were just mentioning, probably know somebody, whether it's a niece, a nephew, a family member, or like you had mentioned, a friend that has a child on the spectrum. And many families just don't talk about it. But what Tammy and Wayne wanted to do in founding KNOWAutism is create funding so parents would have funding available, whether it be financial aid for diagnostic, to have the diagnosis, or more importantly, to have the therapies, and then also scholarships for school. And by creating KNOWAutism, we were able to help these families, many of our families do come from underserved areas, but many of them, it's middle-class families, because for these therapies, you have to go 40 hours a week. So you have to have a parent who has to be able to get time off to take their child to therapy. And it's very difficult. And therapy is incredibly expensive. Therapy is not covered by Medicaid or Medicare. It's not covered. So with KNOWAutism, we are able to give the financial aid that many parents need. And diagnosis is incredibly important. The earlier you have your diagnosis, the more opportunities your child will have to flourish and see the true potential that they have. So I'll tell you, in the 7 years that the organization has been around, we have given $1.2 million in scholarship and financial aid. We're really proud about that. Wow. And Danae, Danae and I chaired the gala, gosh, a couple years ago. But I'm very proud. Our administrative costs are very low. We have really just one part-time staff member. So really, what we raise, we want to give it all to the families. And oh gosh, I need to put on a plug, sorry, as chair. We have our luncheon next Thursday. We put on one big event a year. Instead of our gala this year, we are doing a luncheon just out of respect for the atmosphere that we're in with COVID and everything. So we have a luncheon next Thursday, April 8th at the Junior League at 11:30. But we're doing something really different this year. Many of our families actually just having their child at home because they weren't able to go to school. It was very difficult. Many two-income families had to become one because a parent needed to stay at home. So they needed some distraction. So we turned to art. We turned to art kind of as an idea stemming from the river program. So we sent out art kits to 40 of our families, just a blank canvas, paint, some colors and paintbrushes, and said, just paint, just be creative, and involve your siblings, involve the whole family. You would not believe what we received back. It was just, I keep on using the word joy and magic, but that's the only thing I can think to use. But it was absolutely amazing. We were overwhelmed. And our families were just incredibly thankful. Thank you for the distraction. I did not know my child had this inclination toward art. My son sat still for 3 hours. I have never seen him focus so much. And look what he did. And we got these pictures of these children so proud of their masterpieces. So with this, we called it a pilot program. We have now launched the first ever As I Am Art Festival. As I am. Accept me. Love me as I am. Yes? Am I right? Am I right? And this is what Bradley is doing. And so it is going to be on Sunday. It's free to the public. As I Am Art Festival, Sunday, May 23rd. Please come from 11 to 3. It is going to be on the Fish Plaza, right in front of the Wortham Theater where the ballet performs. And it's going to be a collaboration. We have so many fabulous partners. And again, this just shows the incredible resources that Houston provides to our family. From the time your child is diagnosed, we have Texas Children's Hospital, the Meyer Center, who is one of the main facilities and resources for us to have your child diagnosed. They're coming. And from there, we have all the way up to Heart. When your child is 21 and graduates from high school or from a school, they can become a member of Heart. But some of our partners are, of course, the River, the Houston Ballet. KNOWAutism has a partnership with the River and also the Houston Ballet, and through these partnerships, their outreach programs, they partner with more than 37 schools in HISD and other districts. They have classes for movement, for art, to work with children in their life skills programs. I'm almost done talking. So sorry.
No,
I just get a little passionate about this.
I don't want you to stop.
Okay, I'm so sorry. It's just so rich and so good. So we have the River, the ballet. We have several schools, including Westview, Monarch, Avondale. I'll keep on going in a second. We have the Hub program, which works with. Is Bradley, has he ever been at the Hub? And
I've been over there. So Bradley again is too old.
Okay. Oh darn. Okay, but so they're so amazing, and they will be selling some of the art pieces that their children provide. We also KNOWAutism has a partnership with Social Motion Skills.
Yes.
You can go get your drivers. You can go to driver's ed there. Again, they have incredible programming at Social Motion Skills, and they will be selling their jewelry that their students make. And so Avondale and Monarch School is going to be entertaining us with their musical theater. So we'll have entertainment throughout the day. Tiffany's is going to be one of our sponsors as well. They are coming, and they will have cupcakes and lemonade, and they're going to do a raffle for some of their pieces, art pieces, and necklaces. Tiffany's. Yes. So we'll have stilt walkers, food trucks, a magician. It's just going to be a fabulous day, but most importantly, the attraction will be, we were hoping that we might be able to have 75 masterpieces of art from all the students at these schools and our partners. We were hoping, we have over 250 children.
Wow.
Who will have their art displayed. So come to see our As I Am art gallery with these masterpieces of the children displayed, but also all the organizations that I just named. We have 12 partners. They will have booths with information about their programs and their school. And again, open to the public. We want people to come, enjoy the day, and just see the incredible art and just what our community is able to do, and their masterpieces.
And is there a way for kids to get involved and volunteer to help? I think that would be incredible. We if we could get Caitlin and Bella. Sure. But, we have the Rotary Club and UNICEF volunteers are helping us.
Oh, good.
Yes, but we would love to have students volunteer. I'm trying to think how we could do that. Sure, yes. I'll probably go to KNOWAutism.org Paul David Van Otta is helping us
Okay, good.
organize
Well,
that.
we
We can
work
work out those details, but we would love to have kids. We'll have rocks being painted by children, and they will be actually given to the Haven. The Haven is a facility for our young girls that have been sex trafficked. So children can paint rocks with Marion, and those rocks would be put in a rock garden at the Haven for our young girls ages 11 to 18 that have been our survivors of sex trafficking. So it's going to be an incredible collaboration, and it's an incredible day. So we have something for everyone. Mm-hmm. But I will tell you, so for No Autism, it is important. We have so many opportunities and support for our children. Many of the partners that I just mentioned offer care of every sort and resources for children as we go through, and we offer scholarships for all of the schools that I just mentioned and programs. But something that I love about the HEART program is, as far as entrepreneurship, I really want Jane to talk about what were the opportunities that are offered once your child graduates. Will you please talk about some of these training and opportunities that HEART is doing? Because I'm so proud, and this is why Rob and I support HEART. It's incredibly important, and for the parents to know, where does my child go from here?
Mm-hmm. And thank you guys so much for your support. It means so much to me, to HEART, to Bradley, to everybody that's part of the program, so thank you for that. So our programs have really evolved, right, over the last 15 years, and so we have a number of different ways that individuals with special needs can plug in and continue to learn after high school and continue to learn a job and even to obtain a job and actually work and earn money. So we have a partnership, as you know, with Papa John's Pizza, and so we actually go into the NRG Stadium. So when we have rodeo events or NFL games, our individuals with HEART will actually put on a Papa John's shirt and a Papa John's hat and some khaki pants and some non-skid shoes, and we will go into that stadium with all the other employees and all of the other, security personnel and concession workers and just everybody who works in that stadium. It's, thousands of people behind the scenes working to put on these events, and we're right there with them. And we go in and we get our wristbands and we go into these Papa John's booths, and we actually make all of the Papa John's pizza at every single event. Fantastic. People don't even realize that if you've bought a Papa John's pizza at a football game, it was probably
You've been supporting,
by HEART.
It's made by HEART.
It's made by HEART. And it was really a journey for us, because when I first was talking to them about, this opportunity, my husband has been in the restaurant business since he was like 11 years old.
Oh,
he
goodness.
got a job as a dishwasher and lied about his age in California and then kind of worked his way up to being able to like cut the food, and chop the food and then up into the kitchen and everything. And over his career, he's owned lots of different restaurants. And so, I've seen Bradley kind of grow up in that business. And so I've seen the potential, for individuals to be able to do this type of work. But I will say at the beginning, I don't know that Papa John's saw the same potential that I did. And so they were telling me, okay, Jane, don't let them near the oven.
Right, the liability.
Right. Well, and it was just more of wanting everyone to be safe. Not wanting people to get burned and not wanting people to get hurt with the machinery and everything. And so they were like, okay, as long as you do it and they're there, that's that's fine. And maybe they can help with the pepperoni. Well, 15 years later, they do everything. And when the Super Bowl was in Houston a few years ago, Papa John's actually called me and said, can we have more HEART people? And we were worried we were going to have less of an opportunity because, everyone in all their stores is going to want to work at the Super Bowl.
Of course.
Right? Normally they have a hard time staffing those events, but we thought, well, for the Super Bowl, and they said, it doesn't matter if they want to. We want the HEART folks. You guys are always in uniform. You're always on time. You do a really great job. Every pizza comes out exactly right. And they're focused on their job. They're not going to be focused on the game. They're not going to be distracted by all of that. And the man, Keith Sullins, who owns all the Papa John's franchises here in Houston, he told me that for them, the Super Bowl is a big marketing opportunity because it's attended by, celebrities. And Chrissy Teigen actually Instagrammed a picture of herself eating a Papa John's pizza, right? So if that pizza that she Instagrams isn't right, like if there's a pepperoni hanging off or something,
Right.
like that's going to be a huge embarrassment. And so they trusted their brand to the individuals at the Heart program. That's who they wanted. That was their very first choice, and we were so proud of that. And that's just one example of a program we have. We also
vending machines.
Have our vending machines.
Yes.
We operate now about 80 vending machines across the region. We do all the vending for Avondale House, which of course is a wonderful school for people with autism.
That's where Alma's
Yes.
daughter Michelle
Yes, it's an amazing
lived
place.
for a while.
Amazing
So
place.
it was,
yeah.
yes.
So wonderful.
Actually, it's still there.
Okay.
We also do all the vending for the Houston Food Bank. So if you're there volunteering and you decide you want a snack, you go to the vending machine. That's actually stocked by individuals in the Heart program, and that's how they learn those skills. And we have other, corporate customers as well. And so every day we're loading up our vans and we're driving them to the routes, and we supervise them while they work, so that if there is, a seizure or a breakdown or some kind of episode, we're there with them. But it's their job. And as a nonprofit organization, we've set up a separate fund for the vending program, so that all the money that comes from those vending machines is going in their paychecks, and to
that
replenish
fabulous?
the products
That's
and things like
incredible.
that. It's really great. And we're always looking for new opportunities. During the pandemic in particular, we saw how isolated many people were, and
Yes.
so for some people that had employment, they had to step away for their own safety from that employment opportunity, or they may have been laid off from their jobs. But we have other individuals who were able to go out and work and get those opportunities because so many people were not able to work. So during the pandemic, we've had someone get a job at Starbucks. We've had someone get a job at FedEx. We've had someone get a job at an HEB. And,
Wonderful.
The man who's working at HEB, he started with just 5-10 hours a week, and now he's full time.
HEB is an incredible community
are,
partner.
yes.
HEB is a wonderful partner. They really are.
And I've noticed
Yes.
that there are definitely special needs helpers, employees at the HEB I shop at on Buffalo Speedway. And I just have to say, there's a purity. There's not as many complicated layers to their journey as we make our journeys. So it seems like they can see joy and magic and their task more clearly. And as much as I know, I made the mistake one time of saying to someone, a mom of someone whose child was autistic, and I said, "I'm so sorry." And she said, "Don't apologize to me. It's really been a beautiful journey. It's not something to apologize about." And I thought that was it changed my thinking. And I think we have to change the way we think about their journeys and we look at all of these things.
Yes, please do. Please do.
I've learned so much that's so heartbreaking, right, in this journey. So one of the things, like you say, don't apologize. One of the things we all say without thinking when we know someone who's expecting a new child is we say, "Oh, we're praying for a healthy child."
Yes.
That, when my husband hears that, it hurts him.
Yes.
It hurts him because he thinks, well, my child isn't probably considered healthy, and I love my child. Would someone pray for me not to have my child, And I think there are things that we say, not really thinking about what does that really mean and how complex, and all the struggles that everybody faces, and the fact that we can love our children. I love the saying that, God doesn't make mistakes. And everybody's here for a purpose, and everybody has value.
So how would organizations, I think it's incredible that these different organizations are reaching out and hiring. How would they get in touch with Heart?
Oh, well, we have a website. It's heartprogram.org, which is just HEART program.org. Or they could call me or email me. We have a Facebook, we have Instagram, we have all that good stuff. And but what I would say is they can work through Heart. But if a company is interested in hiring someone who may have intellectual challenges, I would say just do it. Just interview those folks. Just give them a chance, because you may find that you have an employee who will be the most loyal employee, the most dedicated, the most proud of that job. I just think it's worth it.
Absolutely. And so, how are you raising your funds? Are you reaching out to the community? Are you hosting events? Are you collaborating? How do you get your funding?
Thank you so much for asking that. One of the things I haven't mentioned is that at the HEART program, everything is offered at no charge to all the families and all of the clients. Last year, we worked with over 200 individuals with IDD, and of course, we didn't charge any fees to any of them. We primarily do focus our programs on individuals who are lower income because of the fact that we know that they wouldn't be able to access some of the programs that are so expensive, and they can access the HEART program since we don't charge for our services. But that means we have to raise a lot of money to cover the cost of our teacher salaries, the facility, right? The vans to drive them to the vending machines or the events, and all of those costs that we do have. And so we have.
But you do run a very tight ship.
It's a very
extreme.
tight
Yes, she's very effective and efficient and amazing. Okay, sorry, I just want to make that plug for you.
Because when we first started, I would bring paper towels from home. It's like, we're not buying paper towels.
Yeah.
Like, everybody take a day. Everybody on the staff take a day.
You're amazing.
Bring a roll.
Yes, yes. Oh, you're so. Yeah.
We do. We rely on individuals and people. Individuals, companies, philanthropies, anyone who cares deeply about this issue that can give generously to help support the work that we do can make a donation on our website at heartprogram.org. We also have a number of events throughout the year. So usually we have an annual luncheon, we have a happy hour, a silent auction, and we usually have a golf tournament as well. Last year, because of the pandemic, all of that was really put on hold. And so it's been challenging, not just for our organization, but I think for
everybody,
for everyone. And so we know we're not in this alone, but we're hoping, that things will get back to normal and that we'll be able to continue to reach people with our message.
And tell us about legislation. Are there things that you're working with, because you have been so active in Austin with so many different outreach? Are there things that you're doing with legislation, and also are you seeing a difference because of your connection to the media, the way that the media is showing the journey and expressing it to people as well?
So these are things that the HEART program is not involved with, right? We're not like an advocacy organization, but personally, as a mom, as someone who sees these issues, I do get very passionate, right, about speaking out about some of these things. And one of the things that I've been looking a lot at is this idea. At the HEART program for the last 15 years, we've always ensured that people with intellectual challenges, when they're employed, should get at least the federal minimum wage or whatever the prevailing wage is for that job. We have always done that. Even when we pay the individuals with the vending machines, they always earn at least the federal minimum wage. I was shocked. I was shocked to find out that that's not the law.
Wow.
That it is legal in this country for individuals with disabilities to be paid below the federal minimum wage. That is 100% completely legal.
Which psychologically also undermines
their worth, their self-worth.
So many things. And so this has been recently covered more in the media and highlighted more in legislation, but it is still the law. And there are a number of, believe it or not, nonprofit organizations and companies that are still taking advantage of what I consider to be very outdated law, but it's legal. And so there are many people that are still doing that.
I might butt in here if that's all right. And No Autism as well does not participate, but at our luncheon, again next week, April 8th, we have the very first Sippy and Ajay Khurana Houston Heroes, and we are honoring Dr. Renee Rodriguez de Sousa from Texas Children's, the Meyer Center. We are honoring Alan Helfman as our community leader. He does so much for the community, including for those with disabilities. But we are also honoring Alex Bregman, our Astro. He has started, his godson is a child with autism, and so he has his foundation, Bregman Cares charity. One of their pillars is helping children with autism. And he has actually gone to Austin to the state legislature, and they've passed a bill in 2019 to are requesting that Medicaid cover therapy, which is what we were just talking about, and it
Yes.
passed. However, the funding mechanism to fund that new law was not executed. So Alex actually went on from spring training in Florida. They allowed him to testify virtually the importance of putting the funding mechanism into the budget to fund this very important and essential thing for Medicaid to cover therapy for these children. So we are so thankful to Alex, and he is our community hero. He and his wife Reagan. So but that's something that's happening at the state level that's so incredibly important. So our heroes, our true heroes, who aren't afraid to advocate for these important issues.
And you have such a strong background with legislation and your history of growing up and spending time in DC, and I've learned that this is such a big part of every charity's journey. And I didn't really understand that as a young person in the community trying to make a difference. But when you really get deep into every charity, it's about how the laws change the perception in the community and how you move through the community. So it does make a big difference.
Well, and your voice, people think, oh, my vote doesn't matter. How many races were decided by just such few votes this last election? And your voice does matter.
It does.
When you speak out for your child or for something you feel very passionate about.
Or even calling your
just
congressman.
Calling, it makes such a huge difference. Your
we
voice
saw that
matters.
with Houston 20, that we made such an impact with reaching out. So it does make a difference.
Thank you for advocating for what you believe in and what you're passionate about. Thank you for this chance to talk about this and for what we believe in and what we care about, and for being so authentic and allowing us to talk about this today. Thank you.
And we're wrapping up now, so do you have any parting words that you'd like to share on authenticity and your journey and what you might offer to people who want to make a difference?
You want to go first?
Sure. Well, again, thank you for this opportunity to kind of share my story and the journey of the HEART program, and to partner with KNOWAutism on this amazing art festival. I think for me, it's been, so many people that I meet will say something to me like, oh, isn't it, wonderful what you're kind of doing with your career and things like that. And I guess if I'm really being authentic, I get so much more out of what I do than I feel like I'm able to give back. Being around Bradley has truly changed me. I think about the person that I was before I met him and the things that I thought were important, or that I would spend money on, or just any number of things, and the person that I am now. And I realize that, like you were saying earlier about the joy that they see in life, and just getting to see that through his eyes every day. Getting to see the joy when he picks up a blank canvas and gets to create something from nothing. And I would sit there if I were given this blank canvas, and I'd probably have all kinds of anxiety and jitters and fear
over what judgment would come that you'd put out, and they live without that boundary.
Exactly, just approaches
It's
it
so
as I'm going to create
beautiful.
something, and hopefully people will like it, and if not, I like it. And he drew Britney Spears.
Exactly.
That
is, I love awesome.
And she's on the beach with them, and he just wants to know if I'm going to call her and tell her about it. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe.
Sure.
But also, I think with our other two children, when they were all growing up together, it was something that was important to us to always say, we've all been given gifts and different abilities, and we need to use the gifts that we have been given to our fullest potential. Because when we see how hard Bradley struggles, right, and there's so many things he probably wishes that he could do, that he will not have the opportunity to drive a car, or possibly get married, or have a family, or all of those things that I think we take for granted sometimes, that I feel for myself that I can't squander a day, a gift, an opportunity, right? Because I've been given those things, I don't know why, right? But I feel that I have to use that to my fullest. That's, if I'm being very authentic, I think that's what
And
I would
that's
say.
such a gift. If people could
woman.
get to that place.
Oh, thank you.
Jane, it's so true. I think during
Thank you.
COVID, we've all slowed so much. And we just think about what's most important. Because for so long, we were just out reacting to everything. And finally, we got to slow to be at this place. When Amy called me this morning, she goes, "How are you?" And I go, "I'm choosing joy." And
Joy today. Yeah.
And so it's kind of
yeah.
my new mantra, and we've said it with our group in Bible study, is that you have to, it's the perspective, it's the way that you look at it. It's if you see it as an opportunity or as a roadblock, or if you have the faith to believe that there's a bigger plan for that.
Yeah.
And you show us so much of that faith. Amy, do you have?
Well, woman, you got me. No, and you know what I actually was going to say is so much of what I've had the opportunity to do with friends and been blessed. My life has just been grown and augmented. But the pandemic has showed me to get smaller, with family and with friends, and just to get smaller and to focus on what my purpose. And I will tell you, to make a difference, it's all about collaboration. And there's no differences. And everything that No Autism does, our theme has now become as I am. As I am, accept me as I am, love me as I am, inclusion. And the way that we have done that is through collaborating. And it's not about leadership or me. It is about our board working together to create and to make progress and build and you know, I'm thinking of the anti-sex trafficking, all the things that I'll say to me, but it's not about me. It is about building it together and with people, and it's not even like-minded people. What you were saying, because everyone has to bring something, their own gifts and resources, and it's not money. It's you know, heart, humility, humor, and that's what it takes to move forward for any purpose. And that is that's what makes the journey even worth moving on. So but it's interesting, the smaller it's gotten with our family and focus, it's given us strength to move forward. And it's just been really good. It's been really good.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here, ladies.
Well, thank you for today.
Yes.
April Fool's, today. Hello,
I know.
April Fool's.
I'm going to save all my April Fool's jokes for Rob. He better get ready. He deserves them. Okay, thanks so much, guys. Happy Holy Week, happy Easter week, and please try to share your thoughts with autism with other friends and help the community come together, because every person can make a difference, and know that what you do does make a difference. Thank you.